Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing okay. Today is Sunday for me, and I guess I just wanted to catch up a little bit about what's been going on this week. I'm not sure how confusing some of it might be, but I have some footage of me working on the new experiment and also some footage of me sewing some patches onto my jacket. I couldn't leave them with just the background noise, like ASMR, because there was too much real life background noise. So unfortunately, no ASMR adjacent segment this week. I've been working on a new experiment. You might have noticed. You might be rolling your eyes and sighing dramatically at me. That's fine. I don't even know how to explain it. I haven't given up on my Filofax. I've still been upkeeping it this week. It's just not in the video. But I am interested in this experiment, and I guess I don't really want to apologize for it. I think maybe this year for me has just been kind of like a long overdue year of experimentation. I've been talking about it on Tumblr a bit, and I don't really feel that bad anymore. I think there's so much pressure to find a system that works and then just stick with it. But for a long time, I did stick with one system and one type of book. I filled like 12 of those A6 Leuchtturm 1917 books when I was like between the ages of 18 and 20, whatever. And I think this year it's just been nice to think about how my needs have changed, like not only since I was younger, but also just within this year. And it's been nice to experiment with different books and systems and ways of working in memory keeping, especially when memory keeping and symptom tracking and planning and everything else is so important to me on such a personal level. It's been nice to experiment. It's also been kind of nerve-wracking because so much of the year has been split between so many different books and systems. I am kind of a bit nervous, like on reflection, about how everything is sort of not in one place like it used to be. But I'm at the point where I'm like, maybe I did just really need this time and this space to work stuff out, like to try different approaches, I guess. So I'm trying this new experiment and I don't really feel bad about it. It's a traveler's notebook experiment, obviously. I haven't bought anything new for this, so don't fret about the cost. I already had this notebook from a couple of years ago when I last tried this. And I guess that's also part of why I don't mind spending money on different systems and then putting them down, because I know that at some point I might pick it back up. And if I don't, then in a couple of years, maybe I can start unhauling some stuff. But for the time being, I'm not too stressed about it because like the stuff isn't going anywhere. The covers that I have for Hobonichi and for the Traveler's system and for whatever else the Filofax covers, I can put them away in dust bags and I can put them in a drawer. And they'll still be there if I ever want to try them again, or if I ever want to use them for something else, or if I want to give them away as gifts, or if I want to unhaul them. Like, they're not in a drawer deteriorating, at least not in immediate noticeable real time. Like they're away and they're safe, and if I choose to pass them on to someone else, I can do that when I'm ready. But like you don't have to abandon something and then throw it away. Do you know what I mean? So I don't worry about it too much. It's been fun to work on this experiment, I guess. I mean, my dad, again, was like, this is a natural progression, which I guess it might be because I designed my own Filofax pages, and that was a big step for me, was like literally designing my own inserts. And now I guess maybe I'm testing the idea of designing my own booklets, my own planners. Not a big planner. My idea is to make booklets, so there would be like 4 months in each booklet, and it would be undated. So you would use 3 or 4 books a year. I can't remember how many months in the year there are. And that's how it would kind of work. And I do think that's kind of exciting. My idea is kind of to have a commonplace booklet, which would just have like the index pages. So the commonplace page that I designed for my Filofax that had like the column, the margin, and then it said like index at the top for the sticker. So the commonplace booklet would look like that, and it would just be like 60 or so of those pages. And then the planner booklets would have like a calendar, the weeks to view, probably not daily pages because it's a lot of paper. But I think for my personal use, because I'm kind of making these sort of primarily for myself, I guess, like not to sound selfish, but when I design stuff, I always want it to be something that I would be happy using. And so this is what makes the most sense for me, I guess. I would never want to just make something for the sake of it and not put sort of like my heart into it, I guess, if that makes sense. It sounds a bit cheesy, but I want to be able to use them. And so I've made a big calendar because people tend to prefer that, but then I've made just weekly pages. But I think they're quite nice weekly pages. You'll see me working on them in a bit. I think maybe not. I do a flip through though, so you can see a flip through. But there's space on the side. There's like a long column with no dates for adding journal notes, I guess, if you want to do that, or for adding tracking or to-do list. And then each day of the week has space for tasks, obviously, and weather tracking. And then also at the bottom of the page, because it's across 2 pages, there's also another blank space for adding more notes if you want to do that, or more tracking. So they are pretty like versatile, I guess. I tried to make them that way, but I think it's like a really good use of the space that's there. I did like 7 or 8 approaches to it, so it was like a real work in progress. It's been kind of a busy week. It's weird because I feel like for so many weeks I don't get anything done, and then as soon as, like, autistically speaking, I fixate on something, it's like I work so hard and so fast, and I literally can't stop thinking about it. Like, the way it consumes me is unreal. So I have been working pretty hard on it all week. It's been very distracting, to be honest with you. This is the flip through. I have a big calendar, and then a little... I made the sleep tracking, and then next to the sleep tracking there's going to be like a cover for the month. And then I made the daily pages, not the daily pages, the weekly pages. And I quite like it. I think it's cool. I hope that makes sense. At the moment, the project is still very early, just because I'm talking to my manufacturer and I've been testing paper samples and stuff, and now I'm waiting for a test booklet. There's not a whole lot to tell you yet. I'm going to work in this test booklet, if it comes out well, I think for the whole month of August. And then what I'll try and do is start making and maybe selling booklets, at least within the UK, from September. I'm not resuming international shipping because it's so stressful and scary, and I just don't feel well enough. And I also haven't worked out a solution yet. So, but what I will do is make it a printable booklet. So if you want to print them and make them at home, I see a lot of people on Instagram and Etsy do that. So hopefully some of you internationally will know how to do that and will want to, maybe. And then you can print them. Either that, or you can print the individual pages and glue them into a blank traveler size booklet, which is what I was doing in this video as a test. Obviously that's not maybe super ideal, but it's up to you. Obviously that might be a solution for someone who doesn't mind. I will say part of the reason why I kind of was like, oh god, about the Filofax is like the only thing that's now a problem with Filofax is obviously the printing costs. I was doing like my monthly budgeting, I guess, and I was looking at the cost of ink for the last couple of months with my Filofax experiments, just printing out all the commonplace pages, all the daily pages, and the weekly pages, and all the pages. And obviously it does total up. Luckily my printer is very old. It barely works, but it does mean the ink is cheaper than most printers. I pay around £25 to £30, sometimes 35, it does keep going up, for a full set of inks, which compared to a lot of printers is not much. I know some printers can be up to like £80 or £90 for a set of ink, which is literally unfathomable to me. But it is still adding up, obviously, and I'm going through it a lot quicker than I was. There's also the factor of the cost of the paper I'm using. So I'm using the Kikuyo 64 gram paper. I got it on Amazon. It's about £25 or something for like 5,000 sheets or something, which again is not really too bad, but it is still a cost. And I just think if I could get my own booklets printed, that would be an interesting solution to these problems, because I could order it in batches and then, I don't know. I just think it's interesting, okay? I'm curious. It's always just my curiosity. I see something and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if I could make that work. And then my brain is like, it just runs away without me. As I said, I don't really feel bad about it. I think I'm just writing this year off as a year of experimentation. And I think what I'll do is at the end of the year, make a really big video, like breaking down everything I looked at and tried and experimented with, and then hopefully I can decide what I want to move forward with next year and stick to one system next year. That would be really nice. I do feel like this year's experimentation was necessary in some respects, and I think I did myself more damage than good by worrying about the fact that I kept changing system. I wish I had recognized it for what it was sooner, maybe. But yeah. I was watching Lindsay's video, Lindsay Scribbles. I was watching her video last week about her traveller system. I think maybe that's what first sparked my curiosity. And in it, she said something about the micro win of finishing a booklet and putting it away. And although when I finish Filofax pages, like batches of pages, I can archive them, I find I get attached to them, and that's almost a problem. With my Hobonichi cousin, I was bored of the pages, I wanted to put them away, and I couldn't because they're in a bound book, and the book is so big, you have the whole year's book in one book. And then with the Filofax, I was too attached to the pages, and I couldn't decide which groups to take out. You can't really just take out 1 or 2 pages, it would be kind of silly and pointless, and I didn't want to take out a whole bunch. So it was almost the opposite problem somehow. But with travelers' notebooks, I guess, you finish a booklet and then the booklet is done, and you can either continue to carry the booklet or you can put it away. But either way, you still have that micro win, as Lindsay said, of finishing the booklet. And when she said that and I was watching it, I was kind of like, oh, and I feel like something kind of clicked for me, because when I was working in the A6 Leuchtturm 1917 notebooks, I was finishing them pretty regularly. I would do a book every 3 months and then it would be finished, and that definitely did feel like a win. It did feel like an accomplishment. And I think maybe that's a feature that I overlooked this year in all my experimentation, was the fact that I was able to finish books regularly, and I had that satisfaction and that knowledge that I had like stuck to it and it was finished and now I could start again. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. I do find that reason alone quite compelling, and I'm interested to see if this experiment, if you will, is going to work better for me again. Like maybe this is the next evolutionary step in my systems, and if it's going to work better again because I have that micro win added to the approach, I guess. I think it might be nice, especially because if I do want to carry a certain book for the comfort, I can, or I can put it away. And obviously the Travelers Company make archive folders, and that's cool. I imagine they're better made and quality controlled than the Filofax ones. I'm starting to understand that Filofax quality control is not the best. But there we go. That's where we're at. That's kind of what's going on. I'm sorry, I guess, but also not really. I do kind of think this was just the year for it, and I don't think that has to be such a negative thing, especially because I'm not throwing anything away. I don't really feel like there's any wasteful aspect to it. The only dated books I used, obviously, were The Cousin and The Weeks, and again, I'll just keep them for future reference. But everything just gets put away until I want to use it again, or until I'm ready to let go of it, to rehome it, so I don't know. Moving on from that, I am working on my horror jacket I've been wanting to make. I mean, I bought that skeleton jacket from Killstar, and then I found out that Killstar was a terrible company. The products also were bad quality. The shoes I got were like 2 sizes too small, even though I bought my normal size. So that's kind of messed up. I returned the whole parcel. Lesson learned. I did not intend to support a terrible company. I guess I should have known better than to buy something online without Googling the company first. I guess that's the world we live in. Anyway, return the whole parcel. I got this jacket on sale, half price. It's a Calvin Klein jacket, but I like the shape, and now I'm adding horror patches to DIY my own spooky jacket, which is quite fun, quite exciting. I just added 2 for now, and I do quite like how minimal it looks. You'll see it in the next clip when the day rolls over. But I am kind of into just having a couple, so I might spread it out over like all my clothes. I might spookify all of my clothes. And that's really fun. I used to do this when I was younger, and it's been really nice to like rediscover this ability, I guess. Like, you can spookify your clothes, no one is stopping you. And I know how to sew. I'm not the best, but when you DIY stuff, this kind of aesthetic does not have to be particularly neat and tidy. If it's a little bit messy and a little bit not uniform, whatever the word for that is, it kind of adds to the aesthetic, to the effect. So it's a good position to be in, a little bit messy, because it just adds to it, really. I think it just gives it more texture, and it is a joy to just make and adjust your own clothes and to give them more longevity and more life, and to really care for them, I guess. Which, you know, shouldn't sound revolutionary, but somehow I lost track of that between the ages of like 22 and 26. So here we go, doing it again. I think I'm going to add patches to like my pencil case, maybe to my traveler's notebook. I did buy some needles for leather, so I might try, although I'm terrified. But yeah, more DIY this year, I guess. I'll keep you updated on the experiment. I won't say anything else. I went to Bath on Saturday, so you can see that next, and that's really cute. Saw my brother, obviously. Always a good time. And now I'm waiting for my test booklet, so I'll update you next week how it's going. But other than that, I think I'll leave it here, because my voice, I always lose my voice when I do this. I never realize how much I don't talk in my day-to-day life until I try and record an audio segment, and I'm talking for like 13 minutes and I literally lose my voice. So, okay. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Some sewing, some book stuff, an experiment that I shouldn't be doing, but I'm not sorry for. Some Halloween shopping, and then a trip to Bath. I hope it was good. I hope you are all good. And I will see you again next week.